all your students already know him. Naveen is a tech educator and YouTuber. He has over 1 million subscribers on his YouTube channel, where he teaches Java and other programming languages. Naveen is a gifted communicator and is able to make complex concepts easy to understand. Then I will start off with our esteemed panelists. I call upon Dr. Ashok Emmanuel V. from Christ University. He is professor and head of the Department of Computer Science at Christ. Guys, come on! Head of department. Yeah. Oh. With his over 20 years of experience, he's a highly accomplished professional with an expertise in the field of teaching. He embodies his motto of lifelong learning by consistently attending workshops, trainings, and conferences where he shares his extensive knowledge and expertise as an avid tech speaker and keynote speaker. Thank you, sir. Then I call upon Vivek Sridhar from Microsoft. He is a senior cloud advocate at Microsoft, an open source contributor, and is an enthusiast of technology. Give him any topic and he will go around it for you. And okay, he has over 17 years of experience in the IT industry and is an expert in DevOps and cloud architect. Vivek is always on the lookout of how to new ways to help businesses adopt cloud technology and modernize their applications. Next, I call upon Muralidhar Rao. He is retired from Oracle's Java platform group. Murli has seen it all. With his 32 years experience in the technology, he was there since WWW was born to this recent COVID times where we all started working work from home. So, throughout his impressive career, Murli has held several senior management positions, contributing to companies of various sizes. He has worked passionately with technology startups, playing an integral role in building innovative products. While at work, he has strongly advocated for continuously building one's knowledge, and that is why he's here today. I am also part of Oracle's Java platform group. Just before Murli's retirement, I had a chance to work with him, and I should say I was always encouraged. Okay. With that, I now call upon my final panelist, Mr. Rajiv Palanki from IBM. I again know you guys would know Rajiv way better. He's my guru who actually got me started into the technical speaking. Rajiv Palanki is a program director for BCO and transformation at IBM's India Systems Development Labs. Rajiv is a seasoned engineering leader with over 21 years of hands-on experience in building and leading complex enterprise development. He's known for his strong collaborative and people-focused leadership style. So, like me, he has had impressive track record of getting many on the stage, many to get into the community, and many to start sharing their knowledge. I now invite them to share their perspectives from their huge experience and engage in a fruitful conversation. Over to you, Naveen.
So I just want to hear that energy from your side. I don't want to say how's the Josh because that is more of a cliche now. So can we have good morning once again from everyone? Okay, on count of three. 3, 2, 1. Good morning. Okay, awesome. But still my voice was bigger than you thanks to the speaker's technologies. Okay, so once again I want to welcome all the panelists here on the stage. This is the first time I'm on stage and I'm nervous. So just to give you a heads up to everyone, I am into industry from a long time, in both the field, in education as well as development. And when I was a teacher, when I'm a teacher, I behave differently. When I'm working on my computer, making some software, I behave differently. I don't know, you have seen a lot of movies, right, where all the technical persons are shown as geek people, people who don't take a bath. You know, they work continuously for 8 to 10 hours and then suddenly they wake up and they're like, okay, I'm alive. But teachers have a different perspective, right? They are more on stage, they are more excited to share their knowledge. So, of course, that changes for me depending upon where I am, right? But one thing I observed, when I teach to students, let's say a college student, and they have these very specific questions, and then I realize, hey, this question cannot be answered by a teacher. We need real professionals in the industry who can do that. Then when I talk to the industry people, they're like, hey, we need quality people. You know, when we hire people, we want them to know things on day one. And they can't answer this, they can't solve this problem. It will be solved by teachers, right? And that's why we are here, to make you understand or to have a discussion how we can help each other, the academic as well as the industry. Cool? And again, all these questions are from students and from the industry, so I'm not the creator, so if you please don't get offended with my questions. So, start with the questions, and I just hope my voice is linear, it's not changing when is it changing the way it is? It's constant, right? Okay. And being a YouTuber, we use a specialized microphones so that the voice will not be disrupted. But anyway, so we'll start with the industry and then we'll jump to the academic part. So whenever we hire people, of course, as an industry, we get this opportunity to hire people. What are the first core skills which you look at when you hire someone? Apart from the technical skills, of course, if you want to hire someone for Java, you will test their Java knowledge. Apart from this technical knowledge, what are the core skills you look at in the candidate? So I can start with you, Vivek.
I'm the guest actually, so you're starting with me. Okay. Hi all. Good morning. And the core skills. I mean, basically, when it comes to hiring, right? So, apart from Java and the coding and other things, I usually see a couple of things. One is their leadership skill. It's the most important skill as well. If you want to grow in an organization or if you want to work with anyone else, you need to have that leadership skill where you can lead yourself. Leadership is not about leading a team, right? It's also about leading yourself. And also the communication skill, the enthusiasm, and whether he has understanding of the code which he is writing. It's not just about writing the code and telling people that, okay, this is the code I wrote, but it is also about explaining why I did this and also explaining why I took this path to solve this problem. So it is, these are the things, how did we build the projects and other things. So it's not just about the time when I go and interview and, at the time of interview, he writes a code and I see that, oh yeah, it's good and I just hire him. But it is also what past projects he has done and basically understand how much knowledge he has on the project. It's not just about I wrote something and I took some open source project. I contributed to open source project. Why did you contribute to that open source project? It's not just about I go and contribute to open source project because somebody told me to do open source contributions, then I'll get a job. No, it's basically about passion. I found I was using this particular open source project in my project, and I found there is a gap. That's why I filled the gap by contributing to the open source. So those are the skill sets. So leadership, communication skills, your organization skills. It's not just about going through the technicality of it, but it is also organizing this kind of a festival. It's also a leadership skill. It's also a communication skill. A lot of discussion happen even before starting up this kind of an event, and how people will come up with strategies and solving these problems. I see there is so many things happening here, right? So they are making sure that people are sitting at the right place. All these things, all these skills are very much important when you go into an industry. So I'll leave it at that. I will let most experienced people to take it over.
Yeah. So yeah, Murli, if you want to add something.
Thank you and good morning everyone. The academic part of the academic performance of every student, we already have the input as your grades and marks and what you score. So that's one input, and definitely I don't think that we want to spend too much time cross-checking that. However, project work is something that students experience something different, right? There are things that you know or you learned that you applied. There are things that you did not know but you learned on the fly. And there are problem-solving skills, critical thinking skills. How do you collaborate with others? To realize the goal. And of course, communication, soft skills undoubtedly play a major role in accomplishing as a team. So these are things that are very, very important right at the beginning. Theoretical study, everybody does that, but as you know, there is theory, there is practice, and project work, whether it is a small assignment for a month or it's a longer assignment for a few months, I think are eye-openers for people to demonstrate their passion, to demonstrate their abilities, to solve problems, and apply what they have learned so far. So I think those are some of the things that I sort of look at if I were in a position of hiring somebody for.
Cool. So Rajiv?
Good morning. It almost feels like So I'll just summarize what my esteemed panelists say. I'll say there are 7 C's in terms of the course. The first C is critical thinking. So you're presented with a set of data. How can you apply analytical thinking to solve the problem? And that's something that hasn't changed since the time I passed out of college. And then related to that is the second C, which is the C for creativity. Can you think of ingenious solutions? Can you have a lateral thinking mindset? You approach things differently. Yeah? We do that when we ask students to solve a problem, or when we ask them to talk about the projects. The third, as everybody said, is communication skills. And one aspect of communication, while it is about how you present yourself, how you describe your project. The other subtle aspect, and it's a rare skill in corporate, is active listening. So if you're given a question in an interview, right, you observe and see if people are actively listening, have they made note of all the points, how are they asking follow-up questions and answering those. The fourth C is C for collaboration. So you're going to work in diverse teams, geographically separated teams. So how can you work with people? And that's the fourth thing. And a lot of what we do in college in terms of the activities, project work, etc. is part of it. The fifth C is coding. And not only how you write code, but how you write good code. And again, related to it is the sixth C, which is core concepts. A lot of times we look at concepts like data structures and algorithms and think, do we really need them? Will we apply them? But we as engineers know that they are just not tools, but they allow you to write efficient code. The last C I feel is the C of confidence. And then confidence is not only in terms of how you're describing what you did, but if you're given a problem, you're stuck, how do you come back? And then confidence is largely based on how well you prepare for the interview. And while these are all things we do assess in terms of core skills when students come for interview, I do want to take this opportunity to leave with a skill which I think is very important for students when they join the job, which is the skill of patience, to understand that if they join the job, good projects, building skills, building meaningful relationships take time. So when you join the industry, like patience is a skill I strongly urge students to develop.
Oh, that's awesome. In fact, I wanted to summarize, but then you did a good job of summarizing it. The 7 C's, of course, we should have made a PPT before the panel discussion. Okay, awesome. And as you mentioned, one of the things about the patience, which is very important. I remember when I joined my first job, so we were getting training for 3 months on different technologies. And then we were expecting, the moment we finish our training, the moment we get on the desk, we will start coding on day 1. But reality was something different. So it took us a lot of time to get on the project. It took us around 2 months. Before that, we used to talk to our seniors. We used to get KTs. You know, I'm from Mumbai. In Mumbai Engineering College, KT means you are failing 1 or 2 subjects. But in industry, it changes. So that's the personal thing. Okay, now coming back to the next one. Now this is for the academic. Things are changing very fast in the industry, right? I mean, look at the technologies from last 10 years. I started my career in 2010, and I was good with Java, not like an expert. I was good with Java, I was making projects, and I thought, I'm smart. I thought, I know everything. My life is set. You know, that's what we think. Once you complete your engineering, once you complete your graduation, you feel, iske baad padne ki zarurat hi nahi. You're done. You're done for your life, right? But then after 2 years, something changed. Or after 4 years, I started working on Hadoop. Then I realized, okay, it will take me 6 months to learn Hadoop. Then I realized the moment I completed Hadoop, people were moving to Spark. Then I left that entire technology. In 2018, something new came into my mind, which is blockchain. I started learning blockchain, and then Bitcoin crashed last year. Now I'm into AI, right? The thing is, if technology in the industry is changing so fast, is it really possible for the academic to go with that pace? And I find it's very difficult for academic to move in that pace. Right? There are a lot of things we have to change in terms of college resources, in terms of teachers, in terms of books, exam pattern, everything. So how do you think how industry can help you in this scenario? How can you keep the pace with the industry?
Okay. Now, as much as you said the technology is changing, we cannot change to that speed, but we change our techniques. The techniques of equipping students. That is where we catch up with the industry. See, when we run a MCA program or a BCA program or any of these programs, we will not be able to talk all technologies what is available because that's very wide spectrum. But we can only equip our students to say you can adapt to any technology. See, that is the technique we would like to use. Now, how do we use that is right from setting up the curriculum. See, Dean University has that privilege that every 6 months we can throw out the syllabus and incorporate something new. So that advantage, that we take as a leverage of that, and then every 6 months we introspect the curriculum, get feedback from the industry. That's why our board of studies also has 2 industry experts. So they give us constantly what kind of technology is changing. Definitely, we will not be able to talk about all technologies, but then we will see how we could upgrade our curriculum to make sure that at least the fundamental base is available from where the student would catapult. So that is how an institution would work. In fact, I would say this gap, actually what we are talking about, is pretty narrow in certain senses. Like for instance, communication skill or any other interpersonal skills. We need a lot of effort and we can easily catch it. There's no gap. But then where we see the gap is whether a student will be able to immediately join a job. But as you very well gave us a witness that no student is going to do the job immediately and is going to wait for some time. So we are leveraging on that waiting time to say that within that 2 months you should be able to get into the technology. See, that is why even though we don't teach certain subjects, within 2 months time the students are able to pick up. So that is how we have narrowed down the gap to ensure that the students are able to pick up to that industry.
Okay, that makes sense. In fact, one of the things which Sir mentioned, just to summarize it, foundation is very important. Technical skills you can learn in 2 months or 3 months, but if you don't have a good foundation, it is difficult to catch up with the industry technology. Okay, that's great. Now, I want to have the same question for the industry, just for the reverse of it. How do you think industry can contribute to the colleges? So I will start with, yeah, you can start. No. Okay, you can start.
Well, a lot of initiatives have already been taken on both sides. I mean, industry as well as academia. So, course content, course delivery, and upgradation of syllabus, providing internship and project opportunities, integrations, conducting workshops, having an incubation center for startup ideas within the campus. So many things are happening, right? It's all good. And what I have to tell you all people is, you're all in a good space, okay? I think this gap is a little overhyped. Okay, it's not something that should be on your mind, just forget the gap. Okay, be passionate about what you're doing. Of course, there is nothing like the real, the real world. So when you step out of academics and get into the industry and join a job, there is going to be a big change. So you need to be sort of prepared for it. There will be a hose pipe of, at full force. There will be jargon, there will be, techniques, there will be technology thrown at you. But you got to be prepared for it. And for those of you who think, okay, I'm done with academics, now I'm going to take a job and just make money. Remember, if you want to make a career in software engineering, be prepared to be a student for your entire career. Learning never stops. Okay, it is continuous learning. What you know today, you will have to augment that, keep on adding to it, as Naveen has mentioned. But we should also remember one thing. The fundamentals are always important. Change happens, but it happens slowly. It is incremental, right? Look at an operating system, 40 years ago, and look at an operating system today. So if you learn the principles of operating systems, it is not all irrelevant today. Okay. So, majority, a large part of, what was true decades ago is true even today. And it's true in, all, there is software, there is hardware, there is CPU, what techniques are used to do performance. So lots of things are carried on and it all changes incrementally. So if you have a strong, fundamental base, where you understood the principles, then it's also easy to catch up. Like I said, you have to be lifelong students. And the ability to keep, learning is enhanced if your fundamentals are strong. So never forget, that it's okay if I go from theory to practice. In fact, I read somewhere, I don't want to name the college, but they have eliminated all these, what they call old age, traditional theoretical courses. And from day one, they start teaching, web applications and developer projects and stuff. So to me, that's like jumping from, one extreme to the other. Right? There is always theory, there is always practical. And I would say, as a student, let it be like 70-75% theory. Don't skip on it. Practical, you'll always get it. And in my experience, most students join as freshers. Within a year, or two, they get fairly, competent. There is absolutely, no issues of getting jobs and being able to contribute to the projects that you design. So, we are talking of just in the initial year or, plus or minus a few months. And tell me, which profession doesn't have it? Right? Would a person who's just got his MBBS, do you want to do it in consulting? What a problem. If the person has no experience. So in every walk of life, an internship or a training or an apprenticeship period is required. Okay. So I don't think it's any different to the software industry. Industry should be prepared to put in, the training courses, the induction programs, boot camps, and the training materials, make it available to people who operate in skills. So I think it's a bit overhyped. Colleges have done, lots of things to improve their curriculum and to provide more opportunities for practical aspects. And industry is continuing, of course, to invest in training and making them more productive. Where they want productivity from day one, I think it is the services industry where, the headcount is translated directly billing and revenues. But I think patience, as mentioned, is required there on part of organizations, not on part of the jobs. So that's what I would like to say.
Right. So before we go to you two, I want to just modify a bit up because he mentioned a lot of different things, right? So let's say in your team, if you get a new member who just came out from the college, he got hired, and he's in your team now, he or she. What are the things you think is missing in terms of their technical knowledge? Okay, so we've talked about the core skills, right? So what do you think should be a part of a college curriculum? This is what they should learn before joining a job. For me, I feel everyone should know the networking concepts, which they, very famously skip the entire subject. They're like, this is optional. So what do you think, what are the technical skills they need before they come to the job?
First thing, if a new person is there, I'm going to rag them.
Sorry, which one?
I'm going to rag them.
Rag them.
Okay, so to be serious, see, there is, so from a technicality perspective, right, there will be a gap for sure, because their understanding of technology and because there is a lot of things have been feed to them today. If you just open YouTube, right, there's bunch of YouTubers and there's a bunch of people talking about different things. Somebody says, and I get a lot of students reaching out to me, I want to be a developer advocate. Because they just see me as a developer advocate and they say, I also want to be a developer advocate. You are a fresher. So you don't get to be a developer advocate if you are a fresher. Right? Because you need an experience to talk to customers. You need experience to, if I'm developer advocate, I'm just not doing a talk in some conferences, but I also talk to a lot of startups. I talk to a lot of enterprise customers, and I talk to them with different architectures, how they should be building it better. So it comes with an experience. So you should have at least 6 to 7 years of experience, then you become that role. So there is a lot of things which is missing today. And I agree there is a gap in terms of technology-wise. Even if today if I ask, everybody knows internet, everybody is using internet. If I just ask how internet works, can somebody tell me how internet works? It's like they'll say HTTP. I go for domain. That's not how internet works. So tell me the process of how internet works. So there is a lot of foundational, also has been missing, and also they will have to go through those different curriculums and other things. So one of the things which I just want to add on top of this is, at Microsoft at least, my team works with student ambassadors to build curriculums. So we build curriculums for rest of the world. So basically we sit with the student, we sit with the professors, and we work with professors and students. Basically students build those curriculums with us. So they code with us. So that is where they will learn, okay, this is how we should be delivering a project, this is how we should be using all of these technologies. That's one of the things which is there. And the other thing which I just want to add is, the colleges have to let industries to come into the colleges and teach, as visiting professors and other things. I don't see in India very less visiting professors from industry come in and deliver, sessions where they teach new technologies and other things. Because my colleagues in UK, they visit a lot of, Cambridge universities and other places where they go and deliver sessions. So those are the things, couple of things which are missing, because those interactions is very much important. And I love this setup. Basically, this setup is very nice because there is a Java user group. They do meetups anyways. They used to do meetups anyways. But the meetup is happening in a college and bringing students, bringing professionals and startups and everybody together. It is not about the sessions which is going to happen here. It's also about the interactions which is going to happen after that. So that is where the, everything gels out, right? So that's the most important thing. So.
Sure. You said what are the things they could do in the college that's different in the industry world. So one thing is the scale of things are very, very different, right? As in college you might have written programs or projects, few hundreds or even few thousands of lines. But when you join the industry, you'll be working on a product with millions of lines. And also remember that it's mostly teams that are working on it. And teams are composed of people who each knows some part of it, right? Nobody knows everything. the entire details about the whole product. And the beauty of it is how a team, where each one knows one small piece of it, is able to successfully engineer, build the products and add features to it and improve it and so on and so forth and keep making new releases. So this is something that we are not exposed to in college, right? The teamwork and the multiple roles that are required. Not everybody will become a designer from day one. So there are testing roles, there are coding roles, there are designer roles, there are support and tech support roles. So each of them have got a certain different skill, which is predominant, right? So if you are in tech support, you need to be a good troubleshooter. You need to be able to debug very well. If you are in the dev space, you need to not only write good code, you should also be able to read good code. Okay, reading and learning from what is already there is I think a very important skill that we tend to neglect, because all the time it's about writing code, right? Okay, write this, count the number of bits, and let me see whether you can write it in 2 lines of code or 20 lines of code. Right? So writing is overhyped again, because you cannot just have writing skills but no reading skills. So reading skills are very, very important. How do you make out? Most of the open source has a problem with lack of documentation. There isn't always enough documentation that satisfies you. So you have to be able to read between the lines. You have to plug the gap by reading and talk to others who are more knowledgeable and try to get their information. So multiple roles, being open to that, scale of things, programming the large, as it's called. This is something that it would be good if there are some team projects, not just individuals, because academia is all about individual performance. But I think exposure to teamwork and a project that allows people to play these multiple roles and get a sense of it would be helpful.
Right. In fact, when you mention about reading, next time when you copy the code from ChatGPT or Stack Overflow, also read the code first. That's how you start, and then you can read the entire project. Cool. The same question for you. What are one technology or skill, in terms of technical skill, you think a student should learn before joining industry?
I think I'll just add on to them and say the ability to design enterprise. See, there are various aspects when we write enterprise code. There's security, there is understanding a user-centric design. So that aspect of software engineering, which allows us to build skills to design and develop enterprise-grade software, I think so is something that we should adopt. And I'll just add one more point to what should change in the way the industry and the academy is making the changes. I mean, yes, curricula has to change, training the faculty has to happen. But I think the way we assess students also has to change in accordance to how the times are changing, which is not evaluating them on what they have learned, but how they are applying what they have learned. I think this is another area where probably industry and academy should.
That sounds interesting. In fact, everyone will be with me here when we talk about college exams. Okay, we are in the wrong place to talk about this, but yes, it has to change, right? We have to find a new way. Okay, cool. Now, one thing I have for you is, in fact, before we go here, I have one thing to add there as well. And since you already mentioned this, once we complete our graduation, once we get a job, and of course, Aditya has mentioned about open source projects, right? So you should contribute in the open source. Do you think we should also contribute to the education as well? So as Vivek mentioned, in the other countries, they get a lot of opportunities to go to different colleges for seminars or guest lecturers. I think we should do that here as well. Of course, in a lot of colleges have seen that they are doing it very actively. So every weekend, on Saturday or Friday, they arrange one industry speaker. But I think it should be implemented in all the colleges, irrespective, is it tier 1 college, tier 2 college, tier 3 college. In fact, it should more in tier 3 college, I guess. Right? Okay, cool. So last one for you, sir, and this is interesting, is because I completed my graduation in 2010, okay, and then every year I can see some changes in the students' behavior and the way they learn technology. In my days when we were doing graduation, it was more about learn what you have been taught in the college. Make sure that you know everything which is going to become in the exams. And then in the last semester, you have to complete a project, so make sure that you're prepared for that. But I think things have been changed in last few years. So what are the things you have seen have changed in students' attitude towards technology in last 5 or 10 years?
Okay. So partly I would like to also respond to the industry. This sometimes is a problem. We hear one side and we don't hear the other side at all as a response. See, when it comes to training the students or curriculum update, just as I told you earlier also, every 6 months we introspect the curriculum. We make sure that everything is available. The latest we try to incorporate. As much as he also pointed out, when a student sits for the interview, the first question is, what is your projects, right? How many projects you've done? Now that also we are taking care, which means at least 2 to 3 projects, which is part of the curriculum, is completed before he graduates. And apart from that, we also give them ample opportunities for them to work on as many as internships or projects possible. But the challenge there is, who has to give the internship? The buck stops there, right? And it is back again to the industry which says, I can't give you internship, but then you do a project, right? I can't help you, but you do a project. So that is something what I wish the industry also looks into. Many of our students, when they try for internship, they get a closed door. Then how do you expect us to do that internship? See, that is where I think the industry also needs to change in its mindset, that it has to open up for internship. Maybe some amount of resources. You don't even have to give us a space there, but you can give us a problem statement, right? And some kind of handholding to say whether the student is doing a good job or not. See, that kind of relationship, when it builds, I'm sure that much of the queries or much of the expectations of the industries also would be met. Now, it is because that we don't have avenues there, that's where the industry and the institutions seem to have a gap. But we are trying our level best to do that job also. As I said, we give a lot of opportunities for students to do their project. Several projects, if you come to with me in the campus, has been done by the students, and we implement not just here. We have 4 campuses in Bangalore, 2 campuses one in Lavasa and NCR. We make sure that everything is getting implemented. So students do projects which are dealing with 30,000, 40,000 students, users. So scaling up, yes, we do that. But of course, I do admit that it cannot be exactly an industry standard. But then, as much as possible, testing, everything we expose our students to. Now, the other area which I wanted to talk about is how we go about inviting the industry people. Now, as he mentioned that people are not invited to give lectures. No, that's not really true. We do invite. In fact, we wish that many industry people spare their time and they come and take classes. 2 things are possible. 2 things are becoming a hurdle. Number 1, time. The moment we call them, the issue is with their time, which we need to accept. I don't deny that. The second is the pay, right? No institution in India will be able to give a corporate pay, right? So that is again, I expect, as from the institution point of view, that industry need to be a little more liberal, right? Ready to send people to train us. Now, in spite of that, how we go about bridging the gap is, very often we have Industry Connect program, like this program. We very often we invite guest lecturers and they make them teach. As much as possible, we try to at least get our alumni back into the campus to teach. In fact, almost all our projects are actually evaluated by their alumni. The point there is, it is not the alumni that is important, it is the industry experience which is bringing us back. So that is how we are trying our level best to help the students to mature to that level. So this is our expectation.
Yeah, just to answer that, the college, the Christ College, I think it's privileged to have the expertise of great teachers and great management. But unfortunately in India, we have a lot of colleges where we don't have these options. And maybe they are not even trying to solve this problem. So I can see the great efforts going on in College. The question for you is the changes you have seen in the students.
Of late, in fact, we don't call ourselves teachers because we have changed our role to be just facilitators. The reason is, ever since pandemic hit us, more and more online courses, more and more students' ability to learn on their own, right? So, and we foster that. We help them out. And we say, fine, you do that, right? We would only try to facilitate. Of course, we teach some of the fundamentals, but then we also consciously make them learn on their own. And I see that many students have got this ability to do self-learning. Now, for instance, the video what you saw, I'm sure that none of us have taught them, right? He has not picked it up from the classroom. From where did he pick it up? It is his passion which has driven him. It is his passion that made him to make sure that he is. All that we did is give him an opportunity, right? We created a platform. So that is a bigger change of attitude I see, that students are ready to stick their neck out and start learning on themselves, not waiting really for it, because it's too difficult. Now, also we have to understand that the classroom has a lot of imbalances. We are not getting just one set of students who have only 90 points. We also take students who are slightly weaker in studies. So we need to make sure that balances are available. But at the same time, when we identify students who have good potential, we give them the freedom to exercise. So I see that many of the students have started getting interest to learn on their own, equipping themselves. So platform is available, they start building up. That is how we see that when they go to the industry, very quickly they adapt to the latest technology and therefore.
So I think we had a great discussion regarding the academic and the industry. Still, there are certain things which we need to clear out, which we'll do off the panel. So once we go outside, maybe in the canteen, we can have the same discussion. And I hope it was helpful. Thank you so much, the panelists, for being here and answering all my weird questions. Thank you so much.